Hi folks, back down the workshop to proceed with the painting of my Whirligig lure. Now two primer coats have been applied, afterwards 2 coats of beige color, basic color coat, and now I'm going to apply a mottled finish and a brownish and copper color, cause I have a lure, a Whirligig lure in a similar color that proved to be quite successful. A few words about the paints I'm using. Here we've got paints, acrylic paints from a paint set available at local supermarket chains on occasional sales once or twice per year. These are quite cheap and their quality is manageable. They don't provide good coverage, so if you want to use these as a base coat, you have to apply 3 or 4 coats for good coverage. And also they take quite a long time to dry, but they are still manageable if you want to do mottled finishes with that. Not so much suitable as a base coat. Keep away from very cheap paints from the dollar store. These ones tend to bleach. They do not provide coverage at all. They're just rubbish. These ones from the supermarket chain, they still offer fairly reasonable quality, because these supermarket chains like Aldi or Lidl offering these paint sets here, they do not want to lose their reputation of selling crap, so they are still manageable. If you do not for a start, they're okay. Otherwise, I'm using better quality paints like this one by a company called Waco. Doesn't have something to do with the Texan town, I guess. Or this one. They are fairly good, provide good coverage, dry fast. Okay, that was just a few words about the paints. I am using a hard bristled brush. If you want to do mottled finishes, you should not use these soft bristled brushes, but hard bristled brushes. Okay, since I lack a painter's palette, I'm just putting my paints on this piece of cardboard here. So take a bit more of this one, because it's the lightest color. I always start with the lightest color and end up with the darkest color. So this would be light brown, gold. So I hope this one's gonna be okay. It started to clog yesterday. I added some water to dilute it. I hope it's going to be okay. The copper color. Put this aside, wipe it off, and put these away. Finally, brown. Okay, starts to clog up as well, but it's still manageable. Alright, so we're going to apply these colors onto our lure now. I think this will be the bottom part. So the belly portion of the lure will remain in the base color. And now I'm going to apply the color coat, starting with the lightest color, the light brown, after gold, after copper, and finally dark brown on the back of the lure. Alright, I hope the camera captures this thing. Maybe I should put it a bit higher. Alright. Okay. You pick up paint with your brush and always start at the back portion, because you're likely to pick a lot of paint onto the brush, and you want the solid color on the back of the lure, and doing shading down the belly. So I must first do the transition to the wings. Hope you can see it now. And you would not stroke the brush this way, you would always dip it this way. And I hope you can see it in front of the camera. So by dipping, the brush releases more and more paint, and when it's almost dry, you go down to the belly. So you do not get too much coverage. You do not want that. You want some kind of shading down the belly. So your brush has to be dry, almost dry. If you pick up new paint, because sooner or later all paint would have been gone from your brush, you start at the top end again, because you want the solid color there, and when you notice the paint is losing color, you go down towards the belly. If it's still having too much color on it, you can wipe some off on your cardboard. Now you dot down the belly. Of course, it's a bit difficult to do now because you have a two-section lure. Yeah, you could do some more. Yes. Okay, pick up some paint again. Start at the back to get paint out of your brush, and when it's turning dry, your brush turns dry, you proceed, go down the belly. Okay, this looks fine. Now I would do the end grain side. It's a bit too much again. Wipe some paint off. That's very simple techniques, and you get some fairly good results regarding shading down the belly of the lure. There's a bristle there. Wipe it off. Bit more of a solid color. The back should be solid, because on the back you will apply the other colors as well, and you would not go as deep down the belly in the end with the darker colors later. Okay. Okay. Picking up paint, starting up at the back again, so your brush would release paint, and when it's almost dry, you do the shading down the belly, just gently hitting the surface with the almost dry paintbrush bristles. Okay, now some more paint at the back. Because I'm painting wet and wet, I want wet paint at the back so that it will blend with it the next color, which would be darker. Yeah, okay. Here's the result. I'll hang this away in the rack now. And now do the front section. This is a bit easier because I know I have the belly screw eye I can use as a reference about how far I want to do the shading down the belly. So, releasing paint, the majority of the paint at the back portion of the lure, and when your brush is almost dry, you start to lead your brush down the belly. Okay, picking up some new paint, starting in the back. And when you feel your brush would have released enough paint, you start working down the belly to get the shading. So I would check now whether it's equal. Some more here. Yeah. Yep. Okay, this looks quite equal now on either side. So, picking up paint, starting at the back where I want solid colors. And lead the brush down the belly. When it has released, it would have released enough paint to get shading. Yeah. Don't forget the back tail end. And now the end grain side, start at the back end again. I'll wipe some paint off. And when your brush is almost bare of any paint, you lead it down the belly end. Simple as it is. Okay, some more in the back. I want this, as said before, this cheap paint from the supermarket chains takes long time to dry. In this case it's of advantage when I want to paint wet and wet. Okay, I will hold it far away now to look from afar. Yeah, some more here. Get a better transition. Doesn't look like much. Okay. Right. So first color's on. Hang this one in the rack. And I'll get most of the paint away from the brush. I'm proceeding with the first pass again, because I do not want this paint to dry, because I want to work wet and wet. So now I'm picking up the next color. In this case it's gold. Starting out at the back portion again. First at the transition to the fins, because it's a delicate spot. If you had normal lures without such fins, it would be easier. Okay, you do not see much difference because the gold color blends into the light brown, but it gives a certain shine, the metallic shine, and you do not need that much of the gold color. And same thing, when your brush turns dry, you go dipping the brush down towards the belly side. It's almost the same tone like the brown, this gold color, but I said before, just add some metallic shine to the lure. Also, you would have to take care about the consistency of the paints. Some are more dry than others. Some are more liquid. So this is all you would have to take care about. Okay, this one's nice. I will check it from afar. Yeah, I'm satisfied. Now this one again. Again, starting out on the back end with plenty paint. And moving down the flanks. See, this gold color is not as liquid as the other, so your paintbrush becomes dry a lot faster, releases the paint faster, or better said, is bare of paint faster, so you could go down the belly faster. So when picking up new paint, dip it off on the back end, and when your paintbrush has become drier, you go down the belly end. Yeah, now this side again. Eyeballing at a longer distance. Of course, you do not get results like you would with airbrushes, but as I said in part 5 of this video series, I do not really care, and I don't think the fish will care as well. I just got so used to this way of painting my lures. What you do not want to do is stroking the brush like this, because all colors are still wet and you will wipe them away and the light base color will come through. You only want to dot like this, not stroking it. Okay, this one looks fine. Hang it to dry. Pressing out the paint because we want to get to the next one, which would be copper now. So now I'm a bit excited because I had diluted this thing yesterday. That's turned out well. That's this transition to the wings. That's not that easy to do. Okay, other side. Don't forget, if you move the brush on one spot, the paint would instantly mix with the wet coat below. Or underneath, sorry, not below. Hope the camera captures all this properly. That was a little bit too much. Now brush is almost dry. Going down. Of course, you could do some portions of the lure more solid, and like the head portion, if you want that to be a bit darker than the flanks or the tail, you can apply more of a darker color. You could even paint it over again after it would have dried. Okay, some more solid color here at the back end. And eyeball down on the distance. Looks quite well. It's just some more little traces of paint here. Now I'm wiping a bit because it turned out too solid. And Let's want more solid color at the back, bit more at the back. Okay, this is it. Now the main section. Start out again at the back. I hope it's enough of paint there. Okay, now the brush is becoming dry. I'd go down the flanks, pick up some paint again, release it further upward, and as the paint becomes more, the brush becomes more dry, you go down the flanks again. Okay, need to do this part rather solid at the back end. Okay, copper's almost gone. And now if you don't watch out, the light base color will shine through, because don't forget all paints are still wet, so they are easy to be wiped off. But in this case you just dot some fresh paint on it. Okay, looks fine. What I would do now, because it's a two-section lure, I would check out whether it's about equal. Oh well. Okay. It's manageable, but there's nothing I could do now. The belly, the light belly on this one is a bit wider than on the rear section. I don't have a chance to alter it now, but it should be okay. The camera just switched itself off. I hope it would capture everything. I'm almost finished anyway. I do not know it's having obviously time limits of the video sequences, but I'm almost done. What was I to say? There's another technique I've employed, wet and wet, that works maybe on lures that have different planes, like for example a rounded back plus a V-shaped belly. You could stroke your brush this way, and within the traces of the brush you lead them to one side to get some kind of a pattern of blending colors. But I do not do this very often, and it would only work out on lures that have a kind of a geometrical shape. So you could do your paint strokes accordingly to the shape of the lure. It won't work as good on such a spindle-shaped round lure. Okay, eyeballing again. Some little more down there, and then we should be finished. Yep, this is it. Okay, I will show this thing to you afterwards have dried, not I would finally mess up by accidentally dropping it, so I quickly hang it down in the rack again. Alright, I hope my little painting display wasn't too boring to you. Now I have to clean the reminders of paint and wash the brushes. That's it, and I'll be back with some more detailed painting. Alright.